I just thought you had the shits. I was going to tell you to stay clear of the breakfast burritos. Too much of the chilaquiles.
Too much of the chilaquiles. Listen, it's Taco Tuesday, and that was the closest thing I could get to a Taco Tuesday type soundbite, okay? Don't judge me. Don't at me. It's funny, though, because a Taco Tuesday, the sense, who was it? Who did we figure out that was the taco? It was Taco John's, right? That was, like, holding the rights to it, and then, like, did jack shit with it. Like, none of the other Mexican restaurants in the United States was allowed to use Taco Tuesday without their permission. And then finally they gave up the rights, blah, blah, blah. Whatever the fuck happened, I can't remember. But either way, now that like Taco Bell and others are free to use it as is, I'm seeing it more and more, and it really has me craving tacos. It does. The other day, I made steak tacos or steak fajitas. Oh my God, they were delicious. No, they were steak tacos because my wife bought those little annoying street taco tortillas. Good, but man, I need some girth on my tortillas. But it was still freaking delicious. Oh my God, I love a good taco. I love good burritos and tacos and pizza. Oh my God, and a good burger. Again, I like food. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that, as long as I'm taking my time on it. Well, boy, yeah, today is Taco Tuesday. I put something out. I'll check it to see if anybody replied here in a second. But I asked, like, what are the good sauces to put on? Actually, I said hot sauces to put on your tacos for Taco Tuesday, and then I believe Ramon responded back with, dude, you need to be getting into salsas. Yes, that's true. Because if you got a good sauce, it's kind of like that Buc-ee's hot sauce that my wife got me. They claimed it was hot, but it was just good flavor, and there's nothing wrong with that. I used to work at Chipotle, and it was more than just hot sauces, like pico de gallo, just more of a chunky salsa. And it's not really authentic, but it's still good and still a better upgrade than just a basic vinegar hot sauce. And that they have their medium corn salsa, which is always good. But like homemade is usually the best. My wife's aunt makes a good pico de gallo, and they're Hispanic, and they know what they're doing. She knows what she's doing. Pam, telling you make a good pico de gallo. It's really good. So I think Ramon is correct. I know he's correct. You gotta go with more of sauces like that instead of just the basic hot sauce. The hot sauces though are good if you're not wanting to go overboard with a salsa. You do have to have a good hot sauce. And somebody did, Bethany wrote in Valentina. Valentina's really good, and it's not very expensive. So that is a good one. Somebody else wrote another one. Maybe it was somewhere else. But yeah, what did I get the other day? I got a generic Louisiana hot sauce, and it was pretty dang good. Pretty dang good. Just listen, I love sauce. I love food. And if there's a way to combine them, you got to go for it. Especially, listen, you could put a good hot sauce on anything. Anything. I just don't like it when hot sauces are just all about the heat and not about the flavor. It's got to be flavor first, then go for the heat. You know what I'm saying?
Right, as always.
Ken, you get me. You get me, Ken. Hey, real quick, my dog is growling in the background. What you see? What you see, puppy? What you see? Anyway, thanks for joining the show. What's up? It's DeHuff. It's another episode of DeHuff Uncensored. Sorry, I got distracted by hot sauce. Make sure you hit that subscribe button wherever you're listening. Don't forget, today's show is presented to you by BetOnline. In fact, BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for everything football. BetOnline has every stat, every matchup, even live odds and spreads to bet on during the games. And if you think you know your stuff, you need to jump in on this. Get in on BetOnline's $200,000 mega contest and pick 5 games against the spread every single week for your chance at weekly prizes and a share of $200,000. Now, when the games are all over, you need to make your way over to their online casino to get in on the game of blackjack or poker, or even unwind with one of their over 150 slot games. Go to betonline.ag today to get in on the action. It's BetOnline. The game starts here. Before we jump into the headlines, it's funny because the way I have it set up, I'm not like a radio station. It was so much easier when I worked at the radio station because when you play sound bites, you have a system built to house sound bites, and they have what's called like a button bar where you can preload your most used sound bites, right? And you have a giant page full of sound bites, and it's usually touch screen, but either way you could have, gosh, I'm trying to remember, about 50 to 100 depending on how you want to set it up, of sound bites on one screen, and you could have it just ready to go, easy peasy. Well, I'm just using a laptop, right? So I don't have that luxury. So I try to pull up what I think I might use during the show, but I always have the Ken laugh, is what I have it labeled as.
Right, as always.
Right? So I always have that ready to go, but I'm playing it through QuickTime. So I have a bunch of those set up. I have the headlines opener, I have the mailbag opener, I have a few other random things ready to go. And if I need something else, I'll try to find it in my sounds folder that I have organized, right? But it was making me think. I was like, I can't do a show without Ken being ready. I can't. He is such a staple. And it started making me think. I was like, of all the Hollywood actors out there, who do I think would be the best person to just sit down and have a regular conversation with? It might be Ryan Gosling, even though he's like one of the top actors right now, right? I mean, the dude's done it all. He was just in Fall Guy. Just watched that. Loved that movie. Barbie blew me away because I thought it was going to be a bust for his career, but him and Margot Robbie just crushed it, especially as a father of a young daughter. I think that really was good, and it just had a good message. And overall, I thought it was a great movie, pretty funny too. And that's where I got the Ken laugh.
Right, as always.
But I'm sitting there going, I think that he might be one of the most, I could be way wrong, but he seems like he would be funny to interview and just have a conversation, and maybe just have him be kind of like a co-host on their show. Don't you think? He seems like he's a little bit more chilled, not as full of himself. He seems like that he could have a laugh or two. I think I'm right. I hope I'm not, wrong on that. So if that ever comes about, I will jump on the chance to get Ryan Gosling on their show. I have a feeling that it will never happen. There's a really good chance, guys, it's not going to happen. Okay, unless I'm the Hawk Tuohy girl, then boom, dang, he's going to be popping on the show. I doubt he would do that. I doubt he would. But what I do know is we need to jump in on the headlines.
Let's go! Let's go!
And now, here are the headlines.
My camera angle is crooked, and it bugs the snot out of me. If you're watching me on whether it's Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, or Twitch, you're going to see that I'm off center, okay? It took me a while to get it as good as it is. Somebody messed with my setup, my son, okay? I blame him, even though I don't blame him. Ultimately, it's my shit. But it's just bugging the snot out of me. You'll see what I'm talking about when you're looking. I'm like slightly off. It's probably more of my issue than anybody else's. But looking at the headlines today, a cat was lost in Yellowstone as a family was on vacation, and it traveled. I've seen 800 miles. I've also seen 900 miles to ultimately reunite with its owners after 2 months. They ended up reuniting somewhere in California. So an animal shelter found it roughly 800 miles away from Yellowstone, called the owners because it had that chip in its neck, and they were reunited. They have no idea how the cat made its way in basically the right direction, and then it was able to be reunited. Here's the problem. Here's the problem I have with this story, that all the articles I read on this too, that nobody even bothered to tackle this. Who the fuck brings a cat on a vacation? Maybe a dog. Maybe a dog. So it's funny because I'm like reading on this, and I'm like, it's just bugging the snot out of me. I'm like, maybe they, couldn't find a cat sitter or whatever. And then all it says is like, well, the cat was out and about and saw like a squirrel or something like that and chased after it, ran up a tree. They couldn't find it, couldn't get it down. They had to leave. Something like that. I'm like, but who fucking brings a cat on vacation? The only thing I could think of is you had your vacation planned and you're trying to take it to someplace to get it boarded while you're on vacation. They're full. You can't get them in. And then you realize all your neighbors, your family members, quote unquote friends and coworkers, they all hate your guts and nobody wants to take care of your stupid cat. That's probably what it was. Nobody wanted to help you out because you're all assholes. That your whole family, top to bottom, are all dicks and they're like, no, I'm not gonna fucking help you and babysit your stupid cat. No. Got to give it eye drops and whatnot, give it special food, make sure you tickle its tummy after it eats. No. I'm guessing that's what it was. Because otherwise, what kind of psycho brings their cat on a vacation? Makes no sense to me. Have you ever done that? Do you know somebody that takes a cat on vacation? I've seen dogs. That makes sense. Dogs are obedient. They run off. They're going to come back. They're not going to be running up a tree. No. But a cat makes no sense. I don't care about how it traveled from Yellowstone to California. I honestly don't care. They're spawns of Satan. And they just teleported there somehow. Okay, listen, I love my cat Gary, I do, but man, that he's a little fucker sometimes. Most cats are, and I wouldn't ever think to go, hey, we got a family vacation. Let's bring him. Let's bring Gare Bear with us, huh? Let's do that. No, makes no sense. If you've ever brought a pet other than a dog on vacation, you got to let me know. Like a road trip, especially, because this was a road trip. You got to let me know. DeHuffPodcast@gmail.com. And how did it go? Because I imagine it would be tense. Be like, don't let the fucking cat outside. We don't want to let him. We don't want to let him loose in Yellowstone National Park or blah blah blah, wherever. Weird. That's so weird to me. Bizarre. Maybe it's more common than I realize. If you're one of those people that takes out your cat on vacation, you gotta let me know.
What do you mean, you people?
The weird people, okay? Those people. Okay? The weird people that take cats. It doesn't make sense to me. Doesn't make sense. This is so fascinating, but it's kind of jacked up. This guy got arrested. He made like millions of dollars. And it's actually two individuals. Two Uruguayans have been convicted for trafficking $3 million worth in cow gallstones or yeah, you say gallstones, right? Yeah. And at first I'm like, gallstones, $3 million worth? Apparently, they're used in Chinese medicine, and they are worth a lot. So the defendant paid between $198,000 to $200,000 a kilo, more than the price of gold, which is currently around $83,000 a kilo for the gallstones, which he acquired from a slaughterhouse, and it, which is just I'm sitting there trying to wrap my mind around it. If that's like more than twice the amount of gold, I get why he did it, but it's gallstones. Mm, I'm guessing it's some sort of uh, I can't even wrap my brain around it. Just like some sort of weird trafficking law in China and whatever. And it's just I don't I know it's quote unquote wrong, but I don't blame them on that in that situation. If all of a sudden somebody's like, Scott, we're gonna pay you $200,000 for gallstones, I'll be like, okay, let me see what I can do. I'll go talk to a butcher, be like, hey, do you got any random gallstones just lying around? Be like, yeah, they're in the trash can. Go ahead and dig them out. Be like, okay, okay. I know it's against the law, but I can understand why somebody would go down that path if it's worth that much and they're just going to be thrown out. I get it. It's not like they're listen, it's Chinese medicine. It's like people do weird stuff and maybe that's what it is, but they're from fucking cows. They were just gonna be thrown away. It's not like Chinese medicine where they're like, this is like a shark's tongue or whatever it is, or tiger tongue or tiger penis, and because they do that, and they're like, if you eat tiger penis, uh, you're gonna be, strong like an ox, you're gonna be fucking everything in sight. It's not like that. I mean, that people are already slaughtering cows. They have, I believe, per capita, Uruguay has the most cows per capita on the planet. And it's just these gallstones just being tossed aside, but apparently they're worth a shit ton. But you can't transport them into certain countries because it's against the law. Wild. Wild. Ugh. Speaking of wild, I stumbled upon this. Forbes was part of a study gathering data, blah, 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 that ranked the worst drivers in the United States. And I'll give you some of the attributes, the behaviors of some of the worst that some of the worst drivers have. Now, ranked number one, speeding less than 10 miles per hour over the speed limit. Number two, eating while driving. I've done that. I mean, sometimes it's not like I'm eating like with a fork and knife. It's usually like maybe a Taco Bell burrito, maybe a burger, or most of the time, if I'm doing it, I'm just snagging some fries as I'm driving home to feed the family. But it's definitely not like fork and knife type of shit. I'm sure somebody's done that. Number three, speeding up to catch a yellow light. Who hasn't done that? Four, speeding 10 miles per hour to 19 over the speed limit. Yeah, I think just about everybody's done the speeding one. Five, texting while driving. That's one of the worst ones you can do. I've done it. Regret doing it, but I've done it. Six, changing lanes or turning without using a signal. God, motherfuckers do that all the time. Seven, honking, cursing, gesturing at another driver in anger. I know a lot of people that do that.
Why you fucking hide on?
You fucking hide on. People do that all the time. You gotta be careful with that now. So many people are fucking off the handle. You don't know what they're gonna do. They're like, that motherfucker yelled at me. I'm gonna go run him off the road. Yeah, I'm crazy. So you gotta be careful with that. Number eight, speeding 20 or more over the speed limit. 9, running a red light. I've got a ticket for that before. Oh, it was a huge intersection. I thought I had it right, but I didn't. Okay. And number 10, tailgating. Yeah, that one happens a lot too. Also, they have cutting someone off, refusing to yield to another driver. That happens all the time. And speeding in a school zone, motherfuckers do that all the time. And driving while under the influence, sadly, that does happen quite a bit. Causing a car accident, yes. Being involved in an accident, then it cut off. Passing in no passing zones, or when it is dangerous to pass. Yes, people do that all the time. I'm sure you could go through that list and you'd be like, yeah, I've done them. I would have to say I probably did most of those, right? Now, Colorado, where I live, is ranked 38th for the worst drivers in the United States. Okay. California, ranked 28th. Now, both states have, these are the most popular things that we're guilty of: speeding, eating while driving, speeding to catch a yellow light. Yeah, we all do those. Those are very, very popular. Now, what are the worst states? We're going to go from 10 to 1 real quick. Number 10, West Virginia. Number 9, Kansas. Number 8, Vermont. Number 7, Connecticut. Number 6, North Dakota. Number 5, Alaska. Number 4, Wyoming. Number 3, New Mexico. Number 2, Oregon. And number 1, Hawaii. I didn't think Hawaii would be way up there. But and apparently Hawaii is just like, yeah, we fucking suck at driving. That, according to them, they're very open and honest about how shitty drivers they are. Now, who are what are the worst vehicles known to be? If you own one of these vehicles, you're more likely to be a shitty driver. I don't agree with number 10 because I drive one. Number 14, Volkswagen. Number 13, Ford. Number 12, Jeep. That should be higher because it seems like everybody that drives a Jeep is shitty drivers. I have some friends. Number 11, Nissan. Number 10, Honda. I drive a Honda Accord. I'm a great driver. Yeah, Dad says I'm a great driver. Number 9, Subaru. Number 8, Kia. Number 7, Hyundai. Number 6, Toyota. Number 5, Dodge. Number 4, Chrysler. Number 3, Buick. Number 2, GMC. And the number 1 type of car that signals that you're a shitty driver, a Chevy. If you drive a Chevy, you're a real shitty driver. Okay? Listen, hey, I'm just the messenger. Get off my back. Get off my back. Yeah, Chevrolet drivers have the worst driving behavior among any other car brand. 41% admitting to speeding less than 10 miles over the speed limit in the past month. 29% admit to eating while driving in the past month. 23% speed up to catch a yellow light in the past month. 8% honk at other drivers in anger. 11% text while driving in the past, while 94% consider themselves to be good drivers. Just 2% say they're not good drivers. Who's going to say they're a shitty driver? Unless you're just riddled with accidents, right? Otherwise, you're going to be like, I'm a good driver. Everybody else is just terrible. Everybody's terrible, not me. Hey, we got more coming your way, but first, I've been talking about this for a little bit, and it's awesome. I'm giving small businesses a reward. You guys deserve it. You make this country run. And as of right now, what I'm doing, the Huff Uncensored, as it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger, I want to help small businesses out. And I got a few people that I'm working with already. We're going to be starting to share the good word of their companies. But what I'm doing is I'm giving you a chance to save some money if you run a small business. I'm cutting my rates in half for you guys. So what happens is I'm cutting my rates in half, like I said, from now until October 31st. If you and your business commit to a 2-month trial, you could be a proud sponsor of the #1 comedy podcast in Colorado at half the cost, which is pretty dang cool. So shoot me an email to huffpodcast@gmail.com for more details. Your company's message is going to be projected out there to the world via all podcast audio platforms, plus video platforms on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and of course, Twitch. With over 20 years in Denver media, I think I'm at like 21 years now in Denver media. You know, I'm not just fucking around on this shit, okay? I want to make sure that I get out the right message for you, and I know how to do that versus some other people out there. And that's why I'm cutting you guys a break because I understand advertising budgets can be slim, especially near the end of the year. I get it. So that's why I'm doing this for you. So half off sponsorship rates if you commit to a 2-month trial by October 31st of 2024. Shoot me an email to huffpodcast@gmail.com. And you know what? Let's get this thing rolling. I had to bring this up. There's days where I'll do the I don't want to talk about it type of thing, whatever the hell I call it. I don't remember. God, I'm just so uncomfortable right now. My desk just needs to be over slightly. I think hold on, I'm sorry. Before I get into this story, my wife hung up the DeHuff Uncensored sign that she had made for me. It's awesome, but it's just slightly off. And I try to get my head right underneath it, and I can't. And that's why my camera's off. And then, like, where my desk is, I feel like it needs to be over slightly. Basically, I need a new desk. I need a new setup, but I just can't justify doing it. And now, hold on one second. I got to fix the camera. It's just bugging the snot of me. It's like twisting my back. You guys don't care. You honestly don't care. This is high quality podcasting, right? This is why you should be a sponsor on the show. Anyway. Now my back doesn't hurt as much. Anyway, what I was talking about is sometimes I gather a bunch of random stories and I say these are things I don't want to talk about, and then I proceed to talk about them, but I try to go rifle through them. It's our rapid fire segment, right? But I had to put this one in there because I couldn't wait. This is the headline. It says, I make $80,000 as a quote unquote do nothing friend for rent to lonely people. Am I the only one that sees like a giant red flag on that? That's a bad career choice. Let me tell you why. One of those lonely people one day is going to make you into a lampshade. That's what's going to happen. Did you ever see Silence of the Lambs? That's what's going to happen. You're going to have some guy tucking his junk behind his back towards his beehole, and he's going to be naked dancing in the mirror going, I'd fuck me. You put the lotion in the basket. That's what's going to happen. Because he wants your skin smooth. So when he's making a lampshade or whatever, wearing your skin, it feels good. That's what he wants. Okay? But you're sitting there going, I have a job. I'm hanging out with these lonely people. Listen, I'm not saying they're all going to be weird like that. But there might be a reason why they're lonely. Because they murder other people. I'm just saying, it's going to be like, you're going to end up on Dateline NBC. You're going to be like the star. You're going to be a star of that episode, but not in a good way, bro. Not in a good way. It was a seemingly harmless job that he decided to do. Take out lonely people, be their friends, and make a butt ton of money. But one day, he took out the wrong person. And now, he's a lampshade. Because the motherfucker killed his ass. Goodness. Not a good career choice. If my kids told me that was going to be their job, I'd be like, no. You're going down a bad path, bro. Not a good idea. I don't know why I keep saying bro, but I did. I done did it. I did. Hold on one second. Oh, yeah, sorry. Today, listen, I'm being honest with you. It's one of those days where I'm not comfortable. My back is like I'm at a weird angle. Don't like it. I'm very irritated and slightly distracted by my video. But you know what we need to do? Jump into the mailbag.
Mailbag.
You've got mail.
Adam wrote in, he said, "Hey, Duff, when is the appropriate time to put up Halloween decorations?" He sent that in to me via duhuffpodcast@gmail.com. That's an interesting question because I'm not really sure. I guess it depends because I'm thinking you're talking about outdoor decorations. Because inside, I guess it doesn't really matter inside. The only reason why it would matter outside is, well, there's a couple reasons. Me personally, the way I look at it is if you got a lawn, and especially here in Colorado, the grass isn't going dormant yet because the weather's weird and it's warm, and I still have my sprinklers on and I still plan on mowing. So I don't want to put up decorations until I'm at the point where I need to take them down. Um, well, excuse me, I don't want to put them up until I know I'm not going to be mowing anymore. So I would say probably a week or two. Most likely, I'd lean on a week before Halloween. I was driving around yesterday, and there's people already putting up their decorations outside. Like there's these people in, I don't know, they're not too far away from us, but they're in northern Thornton, and they go all out for the holidays, and they got just tons of decorations on their front lawn in their house already. I feel like that's too early. We're not even in October yet. That seems a little silly. So I think it depends. Also, some HOAs might have issues with that. And so I don't know. I would wait until late October, mid-October at the most. It really depends on your neighborhood. And ultimately, I don't give a fuck about the HOA. HOA can go suck a big bag of floppy cocks. But I don't put up decorations too early because of fear of jacking up my grass, right? I don't want to have a bunch of I don't want to have to be cutting around the decorations. So I wait until I'm done mowing for the year, which is usually around mid-October. So I don't know, you guys tell me. I posted it on Twitter and Facebook, and maybe even on Instagram. So go check those out. Make sure you subscribe to all those channels. You fucking have to, okay? You do. And then interact with them and then click like and say how much you enjoy it and blah, 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 yakety schmackety. I don't like putting up decorations for that long, but that's because I'm a curmudgeon type of thing. I don't like wasting the electricity. I don't like the wear and tear on my grass. What I do like is my kids love it. They love, putting it together. I think this year I'm going to let them put the decorations out on their own with like one simple guidance of I will hammer in the electrical outlet thing for Halloween decorations or holiday decorations. I'll do that. Then they decide where they want to put them because it gets too stressful now for me because they want to do it. Then I have an idea. I'll just let them do it. And we'll probably do the same thing with Christmas decorations this year as well. So they get some pride in there and they get their hands on it. I think they're old enough to do that. But I still determine when we actually will do it. So I'm also the guy that like it's November 1st and I'm like, okay, we're taking down the decorations. We're not leaving them up. It's also, December 26th. We're taking down the decorations. I would do it on December 24th if I could. My wife hates that. I'm like, no, let's get rid of this shit. Put it back. Put it in the crawl space. We done. I don't know. You guys tell me. DeHuffPodcast@gmail.com. I got to bring this up real quick because I think it's really freaking cool. This guy named Javier sent me an email last night. Again, DeHuffPodcast@gmail.com. And I'm going to share the picture at a later time. But I want you to kind of follow what Javier's doing, the way he's leading the way. He said, "Hey, DeHuff, just wanted to say I love the podcast. I'm late with this pick. I just wanted to share with you. I remember you had Mark Schlereth on last, and he talked on the episode about ghosts. Here's a picture we took with a regular camera and went and developed the film. This is back in 2015 at the Stanley Hotel. My daughter was randomly taking pictures. You can see it's a woman in a wedding dress. Pretty creepy. I'm going to post that come October." And Javier is kickstarting something that I wanted to get into. So it's a perfect transition. If you have any ghostly encounters, any just weird, unexplained encounters, maybe it's not ghost, maybe it's some sort of cryptid, some sort of creature that you saw while camping. I don't know. Did Bigfoot touch your wiener? I don't know. I don't know. Does he give good rim jobs? I don't know. Let me know. DeHuffPodcast@gmail.com, or you can send me a direct message on my socials at DeHuff Podcast. Start sending them in. Take a moment. If it's easier for you, you can just do a direct message with a video. And then what I can do is just I can play that. I can trim it up and make you sound better if you want. But it wouldn't be a bad idea. You could just do it that way instead of typing it out. Whatever's easier for you. And what I want to do is come the week of Halloween is at least have one day, one show that is going to be the Halloween special, and I want to incorporate you guys with it. I understand you're busy. That's where I'm saying it might be easier for you to just do a video and then upload it in direct message to me because I don't think there's a time limit on those. So just let me know. Just be quick to the point, and we can have some fun with this. And I think it's just fascinating. So Javier, thanks for kicking that off. I love that stuff. I think it's always interesting. One of my podcasts on my phone are dominated with weird, interesting shows. It's not comedy stuff. It's like I listen to like stories from people that go camping and they're like, I can't explain what I saw and what happened, blah, blah, blah. And I think that stuff's fascinating. And I think a lot of people have those stories. So go ahead and send them in to huffpodcast@gmail.com or hit me up on my socials at DeHuff Podcast, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, even YouTube or TikTok. You can hit me up at DeHuff Podcast, and we can get something rolling and get a video. And maybe you don't want me to use the video form of it, but I could at least play the audio. I can transfer the audio and play it on the show. It could be a lot of fun. And if you don't have a story, that's okay. But maybe you know somebody that does. Relay the information and we could have some fun with it. Thank you guys so much for joining the show. Big thanks to Javier as well as Adam and anybody else that has participated in the show in the past. I really appreciate when you guys are able to do it. I understand you're not always able to do it, but it's a lot of fun when you do. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button wherever you're listening. If you could, give it a nice review. Also, big thanks to BetOnline, betonline.ag, and see what all the cool stuff that they got going on. It's DeHuff Uncensored. You guys are amazing. Have a great freaking day. Try not to be a dick today, okay? Seriously. Josh, I'm talking to you, okay? Josh, who's listening, driving around, telling me that the Denver should be ranked #1 for worst drivers. Actually, I kind of agree with that, man. There's some shitty drivers around here, but I'm sure it's worse. I'm sure it's worse. Anyway, you guys are amazing. Have a fantastic day. Let's continue to move forward. I'll talk to you next time.